thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cyndi O'Meara, Karen Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are, up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Kim Morrison.
And I'm Cyndi O'Meara.
And this week, sadly, we do not have the beautiful, precious Karen, but we do have an extraordinary guest that we are so excited to bring to you. This is a topic dear to all of our hearts. And I would have to say that the gorgeous Elizabeth Hughes would have to be someone that epitomizes the absolute professionalism, the amazingness, and the incredible, amazing way in which she delivers this incredible topic of kinesiology. And before we go into what it all is and how it works and how it can support all of us, I know for many of our listeners, they are very keen on this topic. So to have someone of your caliber, Elisabeth, it is indeed an honour for us. And knowing that you're a dear friend of us, well, can I just say, welcome to the show, you beautiful soul.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to share my story today.
Oh, well, speaking of story, you amazing soul, can you please tell us, I think, your story and how you got to doing what you're doing? Can you bring us up to date and up to speed how you came into the world of kinesiology and how you use it in your life, you know, and where it came from, how it started for you?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm totally addicted to kinesiology. Once you start exploring the subject, it really is lifelong journey because there's always something new to understand. There's always new information coming out. So for me, it's been a journey of over 20 years now. I started initially as an educational psychologist and I got a neck injury. Now, I was very much science trained, so I went to the doctor and I went to the physio and the osteopath and took painkillers and did all of the sort of allopathic things to treat my neck, and nothing was working. I wasn't able to go to my job because I was in so much pain, I couldn't drive. So eventually somebody said, have you heard of kinesiology? And this was a long time ago. It really wasn't as well known as it is now, but I was willing to try anything. So I drove off into the wilds of the English countryside to this lady who was just working from her shed in the garden, and she pressed around with my neck and said, oh, there's nothing physically wrong with you, dear, it's all emotional. And she gave me some flower essences, which I'd never heard of at the time, and my neck pain just disappeared within minutes. After months of suffering and having scans and drugs and everything, she just got rid of it by me understanding the emotion that I'd held in the musculature. And that was just such a revolution for me, even with a degree in psychology and everything. It was one of those epiphanies, life-changing moments that made me say, wow, I need to learn how to do this. I need to share this. And it's become my mission ever since, really, to get people to tune into their bodies, to listen to what's really going on and finding tools and ways of releasing that so that they can live their best possible lives.
You're amazing. You're amazing. And I think you just summed it up so beautifully. And I think from Cyndi and my point of view, and certainly Karen's, you know, you're talking our language, the innate intelligence of the body, whispering to the body, talking to the body, letting the body talk to you. Can you tell us exactly what is kinesiology?
Well, essentially, it's a system, like you say, of talking to the body, a way of tuning into that innate intelligence to ask what's going on. And I think it's something that we all know inside of ourselves. When we're out of balance or ill, we do really know deep down how we've created or caused this. But kinesiology is a way of allowing that to come to the conscious mind. So it uses a system of feedback with the muscles. And the idea is that all of the muscles relate to the different meridians, the different energy lines of the body. So therefore, we can ask your body, how's your liver energy? How's your lung energy? How's your stomach, etc., through these external muscle tests. So it's a really great non-invasive way of being able to communicate and ask about the state of health. So essentially, you'd lie on a massage table, or you can do it sitting up, and we'd put the muscles of the body into specific, precise positions. So we'd be asking you to hold hold your arm or hold your leg in a certain way. And we apply gentle pressure to those limbs to see if the muscle can hold its contraction. So you'll either get like a locked response where the muscle feels nice and strong, or it'll be unlocked where the muscle feels spongy. And when we get these unlocked responses, we know that the energy isn't flowing properly through those muscles. And we then ask the body, why isn't this flowing? And all kinesiologists work really holistically. We're looking at, is this something nutritional that's causing a problem, like something that you're eating or something you're not eating? We look at, is it something emotional that's causing the problem, a thought form that you're having? We're asking, is there something physically wrong? Is there not enough blood or lymph flowing to this area that's causing this sensation in the muscle? So the idea is to get to the root cause of that symptom, because once you know that, obviously you can formulate an action plan that will allow you to heal.
Hey, I have a question for you. It's interesting, you know, like I'm in nutrition and Kim does essential oils and Karen does the mind. And what I'm learning more and more is that it's not always about nutrition. It's not always about one thing or the other. It seems to be a collective thing that we almost need to look at. And I know one of the girls that works for me, she had done everything that she could do with diet and everything like that. And then she comes to you and it's almost in an instant she got well. And as a result of that, she's done your course. She's the most amazing, by the way, kinesiologist. She's done amazing things for so many people because she did your 12-month course. So when do we know? This is my question. When do we know? Do we go to nutrition first, or do we look at emotion first, or should we, be looking at the chemicals that are in the environment? Is it a negative mind thing? How do we know to go that? Do you ask those questions?
Yes, exactly. That's where kinesiology steps in and asks your body, what is the priority treatment? What do we need to do first? So from that point of view, it's going to save you time, money, stress of running around thinking, oh, what is the problem? What's wrong with me? Do I need to change my diet? Should I see a psychologist? Do I need to go to the osteopath? Kinesiology can actually test your body. What is going to be the best treatment plan for you? And like you say, it's not always what you think it's going to be. So I had a lady come to me and she was having issues with her husband. She was looking at getting divorced. And so you'd think this is an emotional issue, wouldn't you? I thought we're going to do lots of counselling skills and affirmations and really support her, emotionally and mentally. But when we used the kinesiology and asked her body what was wrong, it said that she was sensitive to apples. So it was coming up like purely nutritional. So she said, yes, I have apple juice every morning. I make up a green smoothie and I put apples into that. So all her body would tell me was that she needs to avoid apples. So she goes away and she cuts out the apples. After a few days, she calls me and says, actually, my husband's not that annoying after all. Like, I'm kind of getting on better with him now. And I think what was happening is she's having this beautiful green drink every morning. It was irritating, inflaming her system. The first person she sees is him, and she's like, rah, because she's stressed because of the juice. So even when we think, oh, this possibly can't be a nutritional issue, it is. So that's why I love kinesiology, because it allows you to be really open-minded and just ask that person's body what it wants.
Maybe then a kinesiologist is the first point of call, where you actually go and let your body tell you what it requires and what it needs. So, I mean, I came to you just recently and I loved the fact that you picked up on so many things that I didn't really consider or think about, and yet it all made such sense once I saw you. And then with the flower essences and the way you communicated it to me, or should I say the way my body communicated to you to talk to me. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what actually happens during an appointment? So if somebody, booked an appointment with you or a kinesiologist, what could they expect in an appointment?
So initially we take a consultation, asking some questions about medical history and so on. And then we ask the person to lie down on the table, and you remain fully clothed throughout, but you do have to stay awake. It's not like having a lovely massage where you go to sleep and relax. It's a two-way interactive process. And that self-responsibility is a really key factor, that it's your body we're listening to. So we're going to be asking you to hold your arms and legs in positions while we apply pressure. And then from the results of those tests, we'll be explaining to you this is emotional or nutritional or physical. And then we might do some massage points. We might do some food sensitivity testing. We've got heaps of beautiful skills. We might use flower essences. We might use pure essential oils. We might use crystals. It can go into all different pathways. But every treatment is unique. Every treatment is individual, depending on what your body asks for at that moment in time. But taking it one step further, really, I want you to all become your own therapists. So yes, kinesiology is a first point of call, but actually if you can have some kinesiology skills yourself, you can test your own body, what's causing it. You can actually learn to muscle test yourself. So you can ask, do I need to work on my nutrition, or do I need to work on my mental health, or so on.
Can you tell us I loved it when you taught us. You only have to go to a 1 hour or a half day or even a full day course to feel really quite confident in, I would say actually our 1 day course that you did, I really felt more confident because you got to practice. But one of my favourite personal muscle testing, can you give us a couple of options? My favourite is a sticky finger, but could you explain to it, do you think, what would be some tips that we could do at home for ourselves?
Yes, of course. So, really the easiest one to do is using your whole body, using all of the muscles in your body. So we'd say that a normal reaction is if you just stood up straight, you'll be able to just feel really grounded, really secure. Your body should be able to stay still. And then when we ask the body a question, we're like calibrating all the muscles in the body to respond. So your body might start to lean forward, or it might start to sort of fall back. You'll get a sensation of movement in the body, and that's your body trying to talk to you. So, for example, if the question was, is it okay for me to eat this chocolate biscuit? You could put the chocolate biscuit in front of you. You could stand there dead still in front of it and then ask the question, is it okay to eat this biscuit? Now, we'd say if you stand completely still, there's no response, no change, then that's going to be okay. There's no change. Your body's just absolutely fine whether it has the biscuit near it or not. But if you start to get a sensation of movement, then possibly your body's trying to flag something to your attention that it doesn't want to have this biscuit at this time. So I think that kind of frees it up a little bit.
The mind might be saying something differently, though. This is where
the mind might be saying, yes, I want the biscuit. I'm going to have it anyway. And obviously that's your free choice. But if we start to trust that body's message and listen to it, we'll really start to respect that and go, okay, well, I kind of fancied the biscuit, but my body's not going to be able to process that well today.
Oh, I love it. We all need this skill.
I reckon.
Because I find at the moment with science and I know there's science behind what you're saying, but I find with science at the moment is that, you've got to have this blood test, you've got to do this saliva test, you've got to have this fecal test, you've got to have this urine test. And it's like we don't trust our bodies anymore. We're always investigating and we're not trusting. And even though we know that these tests are not completely accurate, we continue to do them. And then we see... you've got an iron deficiency or a B12 deficiency. Oh, we'll just take iron. We're not looking at, why do you have an iron deficiency? Is it because you're not eating enough? Is it because it's interacting with something? Is it, it could be all sorts of reasons, a slow bleed somewhere. And we need this skill. We're not listening to our bodies anymore. And I love the fact that that's what you start to teach. So what other things can we look for? I think that's a brilliant one. What was the sticky finger one, Kim?
You tell us. Tell us, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, so the sticky finger, what you'd do is on your dominant hand, so if you're right-handed, use your right hand, you'd get your index finger and pop it over your thumb pad. So you've sort of got a little circle shape. Then you use your index finger to stroke round and round on your thumb pad. And as you go around, it should feel nice and smooth. You should easily be able to stroke your finger around. Now, obviously, if it's really hot or you've got dirt on your hands or something, it won't work. But if you're not too sweaty, you should just be able to go round and round on your finger. And then when we ask a question, the finger actually sticks. It sounds really crazy till you've felt it, but it will just stop moving. You just won't be able to get that flow of energy. And so that's therefore your body indicating something that's relevant to you again. So a bit like your... it's really subtle. You can do it in the supermarket. You can do it in restaurants. I often sort of just flick through the menu with my fingers, just checking that my body is going to be
I can just see new dating sites and new people on blind dates and things just sitting there getting their fingers. Is this man a good one for me? Like, it's serious. It actually is quite freaky how it picks up. Elizabeth, can I do that for someone else? In other words, a child may not be able to understand the question I'm asking. Can I do that for my child?
Yes, of course. So I've got a book, Your Child's Body Has the Answer, that goes into different ways you can use testing with children. Depending on the age of the child, there's different ways you could do it. If you just have a little baby or a toddler that's going to sit comfortably on your lap, you can hold your child and surrogate their energy through your body. I guess it's like if you were having an electric shock and you touched the person who was being electrocuted, you would also have that electricity pass through your body. So it's the kind of concept that energy will pass through one person to another. So just touching somebody and holding them allows you to pick up on their energy. So you'd set your intention that the questions you are asking were for the child. If your child is old enough, then you'll be able to muscle test them directly, and you could just gently press on their arm while you ask the questions, looking for a change in that muscle response.
So you ask them to hold strong?
Yeah.
Can you give us an idea of what muscle testing involves? Like, tell us a little bit around that.
Certainly. So you'd put their arm into a certain position. It's kind of hard to show you without having a picture, but basically you'd hold your arm out straight and raise it up about 45 degrees directly in front of the body. And this activates the anterior deltoid muscle that's up in your shoulder. Then you'd apply gentle pressure just above the wrist, and literally just like 2 fingers worth of pressure. It's not in any way some sort of arm wrestle. You just gently apply pressure and you should feel a really locked response. You should feel that person pressing up against you. And then if we ask a question, if it's relevant, the answer, then the arm will just move slightly. You'll just feel the energy leave. And obviously that's only temporarily in response to the question, and then return. But that's just enough to flag into your conscious mind, okay, there's something here that I need to explore. So for older children and for adults, we often use that as a test. Or for yourself, use Sticky Smooth or use your whole body, because you can't really press on your own arm muscle. That would be too much able to cheat, I think, doing that one.
Exactly. Tell me, sweetheart, I mean, your books, you've got 2 books, Your Body Has the Answer and Your Child's Body Has the Answer. What I think is so brilliant about these books is they are common ailments. I mean, am I right in assuming that kinesiology does not replace medical or diagnostic tools? Is that correct in the way to say that? So you're looking at these books as common ailments and supporting beautiful natural therapies to help heal these. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Obviously, it doesn't replace a medical diagnosis, and some of the condition, I mean, obviously it says that in the start of the book, but some of the conditions say specifically you really need to go to the doctor and get checked, because this could be symptomatic of something more serious. Like Cyndi said about the iron levels earlier, someone's anemic. That could be a massive clue, couldn't it, that there's something really wrong. So we wouldn't just say, take some iron. We'd say we need to investigate why. So in the book, there's loads of different natural remedies suggested that you can apply to yourself instantly, a lot of them just for free. Sometimes we just need the mind-body awareness. So I believe that every symptom your body says is a way of communicating something's wrong. Yeah, your body's just trying to give you a message, that's all. And if you're aware of what that message is, you don't need to have the physical symptom. So for something like anemia, we'd say that your iron is your strength. It's about your power. So is it something that you're trying too hard to please everybody else? You're running around doing everything for everybody else and you're not in your own sense of power. We would say that could lead you to become anemic. So it could just be something you need to understand on a mental level. Or it could be obviously the foods that you're eating don't contain enough iron. We look at using essential oils that are known for healing. So something for the anemia, lemon or ylang-ylang can be beautiful oils to heal that. We also look at affirmations, flower essences. I mean, gosh, we've tried to bring information in from everywhere to really allow you to go much more holistically. Because I don't know if I get a symptom, I'm straight away on Google. Oh, what does this mean? What could I use? I always look at the natural side of things first. So we've tried to pull that all together for you and then allow you to test over the book itself. So it's not just read it all and think, what do I need? You actually test your own body. Which of these supports do I need?
I love that. And it's very easy to follow. You love it too, Cyndi?
Oh, I do. And it was so funny. Like, I have it up at my farm, Elizabeth, and it gives, when I'm up there, I have a chance to, to read it. Anyway, I took my dad up there, who is a chiropractor. He's up there all the time, but he's a chiropractor and he has been for 50-some years. And he saw your book and he could not take his nose out of it. Because his favourite saying is, nothing happens in the body that doesn't happen in the mind first. So he took your book from my farm. He took it and then...
Well, I will send him his own copy, Cyndi, so you can get yours back.
He actually he loves it, absolutely loves it. And he loves reading through it. So it's been something that he just resonates with. And I think it does resonate with a lot of chiropractors because they do use muscle testing, and a lot of them are getting into, emotional work. But one of the things that like Ruth did for me when she was studying, and I want you to talk about your year-long program that you do, but one of the things that she did as she was studying, as I said to her, I had an accident, a skiing accident. I had 6 stitches in the back of my head, and I felt like it always felt uncomfortable, like I was really uncomfortable with it. And I told her about it. She said, well, let me give it a go. Let's see what we can do for it. So we did affirmations. She gave me some flower essences. She told me where the meridian line was, that it was that I don't know if she said broken. I have no idea, but that's what I perceived from her, that it was the meridian line was stopping at that scar. I reckon within 5 days, it completely disappeared and that problem has never come back. If it does a slight bit, I just do the meridian line, and I'm absolutely blown away by it. And the other thing that she does is she does the tapping. She's been talking about the tapping. So, number one, could you explain tapping? Number two, could you explain what she did in that 12-month period with you? Because I tell you what, she grew so much and has learnt so much in that period.
No, I think all my students, I think you could speak to anybody who's graduated from my program and they would just say it was life-changing. They would say that it's just been, like you say, a year of growth and learning, and they really come out with so many skills to go and share and help other people, which is obviously the purpose for me doing it. So just going back to that scar you had on the back of your head there, Cyndi, that's really interesting. She cleared that by helping to strengthen the meridian line, because whenever we have an injury or a scar, it can actually stop that channel of energy passing through. It's almost like the channel flows and then it has to sort of jump across to the other side of where that scar or injury is. So it creates that block in the flow of energy, which then can obviously start to give you physical pain and symptoms. So something like that, being able to just meridian trace on your own body is so powerful. People who've had C-section scars and any operation, Kim, for your beautiful back, we can do some meridian tracing up your tummy, where you've had that.
I'm doing it right now.
Scars that you've got. Brilliant. Yeah, keep tracing over that. Get that energy flowing over those areas.
I'm using a beautiful oil. Just on that note, the beautiful oil Immortelle or Everlast is such a beautiful oil for helping clear scar tissue with meridians, by the way, and it's just a beautiful, or even lavender if you don't have Immortelle. But thank you, you've just reminded me. Keep going.
So I actually teach the nationally recognised Diploma of Kinesiology, and that is a face-to-face 12-month program that we offer on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. But we also do a interactive program that we send out a training pack that comes with 70 videos of me explaining everything in absolute depth, and they can actually complete that from anywhere in the world. So we've got students in Malaysia and America and England that are working their way through that program. So even if you don't live on the Sunshine Coast and don't get to come to the lessons face to face, from wherever you are, you can still learn kinesiology to help yourself and your family and friends. So we call it the foundation of kinesiology, but in no way does that mean introduction. It's actually lots and lots of different information. So you learn 15 different muscles, what they relate to and how to test them. You learn all about lymph and blood reflexes that will stimulate those muscles. You learn about emotional stress release techniques, including affirmations and flower essences. You learn about the chakra system and how to heal that with kinesiology and using colour and things. You learn some food sensitivity testing. I mean, gosh, you can go onto the website and see everything we've included there. And that actually does give you credits towards this national diploma if you do want to go on and actually be a professional kinesiologist. But lots of people just want those skills for themselves and their friends and family. You know, they might already have wonderful careers. So either way, you can either do it for yourself or you can actually train to be a kinesiologist, like the lady Ruth who works with you, Cyndi. She did the whole program, and it's just a joy to take people through that, because you can just see them developing and blossoming every week.
Definitely. And she's actually opening up soon, isn't she, Kimmy?
Yeah, I'm so excited. She's going to be operating out of 28's premises, and I'm just so excited, because for all of us, Elizabeth, to have someone like Ruthie, and I'm sure for anybody, wherever you live, if you can find a kinesiologist, there's also, would I be correct in saying a certain type are drawn to kinesiology? Every kinesiologist I've met has got such an open, expansive heart. They just really genuinely care, but then they also know that they make such a difference, that they're strong, capable individuals. That seems to be my experience of kinesiologists.
Oh, that's a really good experience. I think most people come to it because they have experienced it themselves. You know, they had that life-changing moment. They've had kinesiology and it's helped them so much that they then want to go on and share that. I know that's certainly what inspired me initially, and I think lots of people have been my clients or they've been to other kinesiologists and they've said, oh wow, how do you do this, you know, train me, I've got to be able to tell more and more people. So that's obviously how these things spread, and it is spreading like wildfire, isn't it? You know, 20 years ago I'd talk about this, or I'd say I'm a kinesiologist, and people had no idea, whereas now people go, oh yeah, is that muscle testing? Oh, I've heard of that. So I think it's wonderful. It's becoming a household name.
What's your website, Elizabeth?
So it's just yourbodyhastheanswer.com. And that's really the whole message, is your body has the answer. You know what's going on inside of you. We're just kinesiologists. We're glorified waitresses, really. We're just saying, oh, would you like this from my menu? Would you like this from my menu? You know, what can we offer you? But it's your body that's going to pick and choose what it wants.
So can you just explain the tapping? I like people are talking about it a lot now. For instance, I've just swum and I was on the beach and somebody said, oh, how do you deal with, Kim and I are off today, aren't we, Kimmy? Yes. Far across the other side of the world. And somebody said, oh, how do you deal with jet lag? And then the next person pipes up and says, oh, I do tapping. So could you explain tapping?
Yes, of course. So tapping can be used in various different ways. The most common at the moment is the emotional freedom technique, EFT, that's become really popular psychology. Basically, what you're doing is you are literally tapping, you are pressing on your body to create a vibration through a specific meridian pathway. So it's a bit like if your energy channel was a river. Imagine that there's like water flowing through it. As you tap, it's like you are sending a vibration through that water that allows anything that shouldn't be there, any little pebbles or any little blockages, to be released from that channel. Now, often you use it in conjunction with an affirmation. So you might say positive words as you tap, so that helps your body to be free to absorb those words. So we'd say any negative thought or any bit of toxicity actually shows up in the energy field as like a little crystal, like a little black spot. I think people who are clairvoyant are able to actually even see that on the body. So I can't actually see it, but I can feel it and get the body to respond. And the tapping is one way of dislodging those blockages in the energy field. Does that help explain it, or does that confuse you more?
No. I always wondered how, that it worked, because I've heard there's different names for it. Is Psych K another one? Which is that?
Psych K, yeah, that's just another branch of kinesiology that uses a lot of tapping within it. So that's the thing. If you Google the word kinesiology, there's loads of different branches. Okay. So applied kinesiology, that's the original. That's the one the chiropractors use. The type I use is progressive kinesiology, is because we're progressing through different layers of the person. But yes, Psych K or educational kinesiology, they're all different branches of the same modality.
Wow. I guess kinesiology means what? Muscle, the study of muscle, or the study of energy, of movement.
Yeah, motion. It's often used in America to mean like sports science. They're looking at the movement of muscles. So kinesiology is more like a sports therapy. So applied kinesiology, progressive kinesiology, or Psych K, any of those, they're more like the therapy part of it. So the word literally translates as the study of movement, and we're looking at the movement of energy and muscles.
It's powerful.
Now, how often should somebody, use a kinesiologist? So, like, I'll often ask Ruth things. Like the other day, we were sent some supplements. So my two nutritionists and I, we go straight to Ruth and we go, okay, can you test this on us, Ruth? I'm so lucky I have one on tap.
Yes, we all need one on tap.
I have one on tap, yeah. So, how often, for someone who doesn't have one on tap, how often would we go? Are there signs that tell us we need to go and see a kinesiologist?
Well, firstly, Cyndi, you're going to have to practice some self-testing so you can be yourself on tap as well.
I was waiting for that.
Yes.
I was about to say that.
You can okay. That's my message, is it's your body. You can know how long, you need to take the supplements. So the signs that you'd really need a kinesiologist, it varies. I mean, I'm trying to get people to listen to their own body. So when they've had a session with me, they're like, oh, should I come back next week? Should I come back next month? And I don't ever really book anybody back in. I just say to them, look, you just feel when you need me again. I'm trying to teach you to listen to your body. So when you feel a bit out of balance, or you feel that the symptom might not have resolved in the way you want to, then come back and we can do another layer, another dimension of that. But the idea is you choose when you come. It's not a set program.
I love that. I love that you're empowering people, and like your book, it gives us hints and clues as to how to empower ourselves. So wonderful, Elizabeth. I think that's the most important thing, is that we educate people to empower them to be the one that knows exactly what's best for them, because we should know, shouldn't we? It's like food. We should know that there are foods that make us feel good and foods that don't, but nobody listens. They take an antacid, or they'll take something that'll, stop an upset stomach. I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, what does it mean when we say balance, like a balance in kinesiology? What exactly does that mean, a kinesiology balance?
Well, balance is a word that we use for a kinesiology treatment. If you think that the body is always trying to get itself back into balance, we've got this natural process of homeostasis where the body's always trying to, filter the blood and so on and get everything equal. But what happens is, through what we're eating, through what we're thinking, we become out of balance. Kinesiology is trying to return us back to that. It's trying to get all of the energy to flow healthily around the body. And I guess going back to what we said about the chocolate biscuit earlier, it's like some days you might get away with the chocolate biscuit, other days you won't. So is it the chocolate biscuit that's the problem, or is it the state of balance your body's in at that day? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, if you're really out of balance, you're going to have a strong reaction to the chocolate biscuit. If you're really healthy and balanced and everything's flowing, you can probably eat the chocolate biscuit, you know, just have that moment of mouth wonder, but not actually have any negative symptoms from it. So I think it kind of frees you up a bit to think, okay, well, how can my body cope with this today? Not, this is not forever, you know, like I'm being really strict and harsh and following all these rules. It's a little bit like, well, okay, how is my body today? Is it this okay for me right now?
I like that. Is that also part of, I guess, the balance? Is that where Cyndi was talking a bit before about the scar, where we're actually clearing energy blockages as well? So there's a way of bringing the body back to some sense of balance. Is that also the same kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. We're totally working in that energy domain, trying to free up all of those meridian lines, which govern the health of our organs, govern our vitality. And if everything's flowing and we're in balance, then we can probably cope with a little bit of toxins. We can probably cope with some of that. But we've all become out of balance, haven't we, because of our environment and so on. We're now so far the other way that it's taking a lot of work. We're needing to have lots of therapies and lots of beautiful positive healing tools in order to get us back into balance so we can just cope with the world that we've created.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that, Elizabeth. I've heard them say, hey, if you lived where all your emotions were, you know, I don't want to say positive or anything like that, but you're emotionally, what's the word? Intelligent. And you live in a world where things aren't getting to you, that we would tolerate more. But because we're living in this crazy, crazy system of high stress and demands and relationships and
Exactly.
yeah, and we have to be a little bit more mindful about how we consume foods, what chemicals we're exposed to, and start listening to our body. My dad has this saying. My dad's quite amazing. At 89, he has this saying. He says, "I like that person," and it's usually, "I like that man. He thinks like I do, but I like that woman. She thinks like I do." And I think that's why we resonate so well with you, Elizabeth, is that we agree with you entirely, and it all makes sense. And it's funny when you meet somebody that is so resistant to this because they're so scientifically minded that they can't open their mind to the potential of this. So my question to you is, when you come across somebody who is like that, how do you approach them with your work?
That is an excellent question, because I think kinesiology does come under criticism from the scientific community. Look, initially when I first started and I was, this bright-eyed 20-something, and I was like, oh, come on, I'm going to save the world and convince everybody of how amazing this is, I would have probably spent ages trying to argue with them about it. But now I'm in my 40s and I'm a little bit wiser. I just think, okay, that's up to you. All I can talk about is what's worked for me, what's worked for people around me. I just think of all of the beautiful people that I've helped and their testimonials and how they've gone on to help more people, and that's enough for me. So I just think, oh, if they don't understand or they want to criticize it, then that's fine. That's their point of view. But I don't even need to argue with them anymore. Does that make sense? I'm just like, it's just worked for me. So that's all I can really speak about is my personal experience with it. And I love it. I'm absolutely addicted to kinesiology. It's just the best thing ever. And it's just a shame that they don't want to experience it and be part of it. But that's totally up to them.
I think you're right. It is a shame, and especially when, and Kimmy and I have this beautiful friend that we do love. We absolutely love it. I know that diet would help. I know that a lot of things would help, but he's just closed, and because I love him so much, I want to help him, but he doesn't want to help himself. And so you're right. You just have to let it go. That's their journey in life. It's not our journey in life. And
I I think
it's so hard, though.
I think, though, sometimes I always come back to that whole thing is we're all on our own journey. We all have our own things. And in a way, he's teaching us how to let go of wanting to change or help somebody that maybe isn't ready to hear it. And I dare say that we could be talking right now about many of our listeners' husbands or wives or children. You've got teenagers that think you've just gone wacko because you've just spent a year doing some diploma course and now all you're walking around and sticky fingering and leaning and you're doing all these things and everyone thinks, far out, she's completely lost the plot. So I think Elizabeth's right. It comes back to our own individuality, our own sense of self and actually becoming, and I say this even with essential oils, and I know you'd feel the same, Cyndi, yourself, really when we go to a spiritual or a more soulful level is you don't want to become an evangelist in anything. You become the example, not the evangelist. And that's one of my favourite quotes, that people will come to you when they want to hear about it. So on that note, Elizabeth, I want to know, tell us about your family, your husband, your sons, your children. Like, you've got an amazing little network there. How are they about your wackiness? Or are they just as wacky?
My wackiness. So, yeah, I mean, I've got a really good team of people around me. I've got my gorgeous husband who, possibly thinks I'm a little bit of a witch sometimes, but he's actually done the course himself. I'd been with him for 20 years before he decided to do the course, but I think he felt it was time to really fully understand what I was going on about.
Years. Let me just interrupt. Patience.
One of my children is really into it. He's always saying, oh, test me for this, Mum, test me for this. And my other child only brings me things he wants to eat. So he'll bring me some Cocoa Pops in the supermarket. Mummy, test me for this. I'll be like, no, it's weak. He'll be like, yeah, I thought so. And he kind of goes and puts it back on the shelf, bless him. So, no, they're all very tolerant of my wackiness. To me, it's not wacky. To them, it's normal because they've had it every day since they were born. So it just seems part of life. And, everyone's very tolerant and understanding because I think it is normal. I don't think I'm wacky.
What about from your point of view, being a person with a psychology degree, you had a very science background, you obviously sound like you're from England. Tell us about your journey to coming to live in Australia and were you a kinesiologist over there before you came here? How did that go about?
So I was head of progressive kinesiology in the UK and I had been for over 10 years. But after having my children, I really just wanted to have a more outdoor, sporty lifestyle, I guess. And as you know, the Sunshine Coast especially and most of Australia really offers people the opportunity to live outside. So when the kids got to 7 and 8 years old, we were like, come on, let's look if we can emigrate. Let's look if we can travel. Now, everybody thought I was a bit crazy in England then. Actually, I have been called wacky before. That was to do with more, why are you giving up this amazing practice? Why are you giving up your training academy? And starting from scratch somewhere else. And it was like, well, it's kind of not really about me. I can do my job anywhere. There's people in Australia that are going to be interested, I'm sure. It was more, let's have an outdoor lifestyle. Let's have a really healthy lifestyle. And the sunshine and the beautiful fresh foods we have here, won over from England's architecture and culture.
How long have you been here now?
So I've been here 7.5 years. So quite a newbie, really, but I feel very at home. It's just paradise, isn't it, every day? We're blessed to be here.
Yeah, and you've made such an impact in a reasonably short amount of time, hasn't she, Cyndi? I mean, we hear your name come up a lot. Karen wrote the foreword, I think, if I'm right, in one of your books.
Yes.
Yeah, you've had some really amazing clients. Tell us give us one or two examples of some incredible turnaround situations or clients, if you can tell us a story or, something around that's worked powerfully that sticks in your mind.
Totally. You see, I have to be quite careful because I don't ever want to break someone's confidentiality. And, sometimes when you're telling a story, the person, if they're listening, are going to go, oh, yeah, that's definitely me, because everyone's so unique and individual. Obviously, in my book, I've included loads of different case studies for every condition, but I've changed all the names and kind of made it really clear, or I've asked permission from those people to include them. I'm just thinking, there was a lady that came who had asthma. And she'd been having asthma all her life, and it all tested up emotionally to do with her mother. And her mother had like an obsessive compulsive disorder. So her whole childhood had been filled with fear, really, about, you must stay safe, you must be careful. And it was almost like this lady hadn't learnt to breathe by herself. She'd been sort of smothered by her mother's fear, really, trying to protect her and keep her safe, like all with good intentions. But her asthma really came from this place of, I can't breathe. So we did this inner child healing work, where we asked her to visualize herself as a little girl and then to be the woman she is now, the adult she is now, and to go and cuddle this little girl and reassure her and tell her that everything was safe, that the world is a friendly place, that people are generally, lovely and supportive, and she's not going to be hurt or criticized in all of these things her mother had instilled in her. And just through doing that inner child process, literally her asthma disappeared. She could give up the medications, along with support from her doctor, and she's never needed to have asthma medication again. So that was just a really wonderful healing that she healed herself. She went in as the adult and healed her own inner child.
That's powerful. It's really powerful. And for a lot of people listening, I mean, if you look at Louise Hay's work, her whole work started that all physical conditions, and Cyndi alluded to it earlier, do come from an emotional place. Would you say to people then, is that true for you, that all physical ailments are from an emotional place, or are enhanced or made worse from an emotional standpoint?
I'd say all physical conditions are from an energy imbalance, that it begins sort of in the energy field first before it becomes physically manifest. But that energy field could be coming out because of emotional, but no, sometimes it's purely nutritional. It might not be anything you're thinking. It could be something chemically, or it could be something physically, like an injury. That, yes, it can be aggravated through the emotions, but that might not necessarily be the cause. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, for example, Cyndi's scar was a physical injury, but obviously it was affecting the energy, and it was the energy we needed to free. That was probably, it may have been worse if Cyndi was having a negative thought or was stressed about something. That could have aggravated it, but that wasn't the cause of it.
Well, I go one step further, or one step back from that, and wonder why she had the accident in the first place. Is it because she was tired? Is it because she needed to get knocked on? She needed to be hit by a 4x2 to wake up and realise she needed to chill or something. I don't know. I always look at that side of it too. Is there something? Because why some days do we trip over and flip and graze our knees and break a wrist, and other days we can walk that path and we've never tripped over? So I don't know, sometimes there can be reasons behind it. Just a quick question, can you surrogate with animals as well, if you had an animal that was not great, or that perhaps you were worried about an animal?
Yeah, definitely. So often people bring me little bits of their dog's fur, just in a little envelope, and then we test around the energy of what the dog might need. So it's mainly dogs I've worked with. I haven't worked with many other animals. There's a lady in Nambour. She does people and pets kinesiology, and she does sort of horses and so on. I think actually there's a few kinesiologists that go out and work with horses. So, yeah, I mean, they've got an energy system, they've got nutritional needs, probably not as much emotional baggage as us humans, but you can certainly use that. And plants. In one of my groups in England, there was this plant. We were working from this hotel, and there was this plant that looked like it was dying in this hotel. So all the girls got together and kind of made it their mission to muscle test what this little plant needed. And they were like putting flower essences in the water and feeding this plant to bring it back to life, which they did. It was a bird of paradise plant, and they saved it.
Oh, that's adorable. Maybe they should be using muscle testing in crime scenes and crime. Like, they all talk about lie detectors, but maybe muscle testing wouldn't be a bad thing instead of a lie detector.
Well, that's true. It does bring out the truth. You can't really hide much when you're having kinesiology, because deep down we all know our games and we all know our things, even if we're not conscious of them. Kinesiology allows us to tap into that subconscious, to tap into the real truth of what's going on. But yeah, okay, I'll offer that to the police service, shall I? Don't know
just I know we're heading to the end, but if you're a mum or a dad and your child's got anxiety or learning difficulties, or maybe skin conditions, or hormonal complaints, or even addictions, is this something that you could? What if the child didn't want to come to you? Could could I come to you as the mother or father and support myself how to support them? Is that another form of surrogacy?
Oh, well, definitely. A lot of people actually who bring their children, it's more the parents that need the support. You know, they'll be like, oh, can you help my child? He's got eczema. And often it turns up that it's the parents that need the balancing. The child's just a little sponge picking up on all the energy around them. Wow. So you do need the child's permission in that sense, really. Obviously, if they're babies and toddlers and can't give their permission, it's really lovely if that child's on board. So if the child's like, no, I don't want the therapy, then I'll say to the mother, look, they don't want to do it. Let's just leave it. We don't, even though the mother wants to help them, I think it's best that the child's on board with that. So, yes, certainly you could come and bring a little piece of your child's hair and we can test around what they need. But really that's best done with the child's blessing. And often it turns out that it's the mother or the father or the siblings that need the balancing.
I can just see it now.
Spouse too.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I can just see these wacky mothers now. We're all going wacky. We're just taking a little piece of your hair. We're taking your nail. We're taking bits of you. They're just going to love it.
Little bits of their DNA.
Yeah.
Their energy representation.
Elizabeth, is there any final things that you would like or that you think our beautiful listeners would love to know, either around yourself personally, around your website, around your upcoming workshop? Please let us know. Is there anything else? You're just such a phenomenal wealth of information, and I really think it's important that our gorgeous listeners get to know you.
Oh, thank you. Well, really, the first port of call is to go and have a look on my website at yourbodyhastheanswer.com, and having a look on there, you'll see all of the tools that we offer to help people. So we're obviously offering books, we're offering workshops, we're offering sort of longer courses. There's videos on there, there's blogs on there, there's things that they can do to start really learning about how kinesiology could help them. So that's really the first place to have a look and see, what resonates with you, of where they want to start, or they can look for a kinesiologist in their area, or they can email me any questions that they might have thought of today while we've been chatting, and I'm more than happy to help answer those. I've got social media pages. If you're into Facebook or Instagram, then it's Elizabeth Hughes, Your Body Has the Answer, and they can just have a look at some nice little quotes and inspirational things I put on there and some health tips. Feel free to email me or contact me if they want to know more.
You're amazing. Cyndi, did you have any more questions, beautiful?
No, I'm all good. I've just enjoyed this so much. I have millions of questions, as always, but I think that we've covered it and people understand it. And I also know, and I've already said this, what I've seen Elisabeth do for one of her students. It's been beautiful watching Ruth just blossom through the whole program and where she wants to go. She's not leaving me, though. I've told her that, Elisabeth. I'm sorry, you're going to have to work at night. You are not leaving me.
I've loved the aromatherapy and kinesiology classes we've done together, Elisabeth, and we've done one-day workshops together, which have been really so much fun and such a gift to offer, again, people on the Sunshine Coast. But I'm sure in the future there'll be many more opportunities. Perhaps we could even do a nutritional aromatic kinesiology event somewhere, or have you in as one of our guest speakers. You're an amazing soul. We love hearing you. And she's also, I think you've been very reserved on this call, I have to say. You're very naughty normally and very cheeky and very funny. So I just want everyone to know, don't look at this as a false illusion. She is not this prim and proper in real life, I'm telling you. She's naughty. But look, I don't know about you listeners, and definitely Cyndi and I, we've had an absolute ball with you today, Elisabeth. Thank you so, so much. I can just see Cyndi and I on the plane tonight, muscle testing one another and doing all sorts of things.
Don't test the plane food. Don't test the plane food.
Don't worry, we don't need to test that one. We know the answer to that one.
Yeah, definitely.
But in all honesty, I cannot encourage people enough to go to yourbodyhastheanswer.com. It's a fantastic website, and certainly there's all the information you'd need to know. One quick question I did have, Elizabeth. If someone did want to, is there a platform where if you lived somewhere that's not on the Sunshine Coast that they could go to find local qualified kinesiologists? Is there a helm?
Yes. Yeah, so that we have like a governing body. Well, there's actually 3 governing bodies in Australia. You've got the Australian Kinesiology Association, the AKA, so they've got a website you can Google. You've got the Australian Institute of Kinesiologists, the AIK, that they can have a look for, or the ATMS, which is the one I belong to, which is the Australian Traditional Medicine Society. So you'll be able to find a practitioner, search for one on any of those 3 sites.
Perfect. Well, listeners, I think you'll all agree with us. We've had a great moment here with a beautiful session. If you've got any questions, please go to all our platforms. You can go to the wellnesscouch.com/up for a chat. You can also go to facebook.com/up for a chat. And of course, you're very, very welcome to ask us any questions in regards to our beautiful overseas trips coming up with New Zealand. Cyndi, Karen and I have got some exciting news to announce that we will be doing a live workshop this year, that we're just working on final details, that you'll be able to come and see us live in Australia, the 3 of us on stage. Don't forget, we've got New Zealand and we've also got Africa next year. So, you're very welcome to go and have a look at our platforms as well for any more information about catching up with us. Elizabeth, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. You're just a phenomenal soul. We do enjoy being with you. Thank you for your time, everybody. And please go out there, take good care, and remember, you can always awaken the change within and always be making a difference, one day, one step, one chance at a time. And let's go sticky finger it and make sure you're on the same page. Alrighty. Have a great time, everybody. Lots of love from us.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.